Well, JoyNews has uncovered plans by the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council, led by its security liaison officer, to recruit and train MPP activists as what they call an election security team that will, among others, guard ballot boxes in the 2020 elections. This is contained in lead correspondence to New Patriotic Party constituency chairman in the Upper West region. Amidst concerns, the state apparatus is being used to train party activists. This revelation comes barely 24 hours after government sponsored a two-day National Security Stakeholders Forum to deliberate on ending political vigilantism. The letter authored by the Regional Security Liaison Officer, Captain Retired Simon Ansu Tenagbo, reads: a list of suitable security-oriented party members was submitted to the Upper West Regional Security Liaison Officer by MPP's constituency chairman for training as election security team to closely monitor the 2020 elections, starting from the reopening of the voters' register through to the actual elections and up to declaration of results. It continues, the list should comprise a leader and 10 others. After their training or orientation, the teams will in turn select and also train polling station election security teams to cover all polling stations in your area. The constituency chairmen are to carefully select and submit their district municipal lists to the Regional Security Liaison Officer, Upper West Regional Coordinating Council by February 2019. And it's signed by Captain Simon Ansu Tenagbo, retired, Regional Security Liaison Officer, and copied the Regional Chairman, MPP, Regional Minister, and Upper West MDCEs. Well, John is posed as one of the constituency chairmen and called the Security Liaison Officer, Captain Tenagbo, who authored the letter, about the list of party activists he wants selected and the motive behind his decision.
I mean, the list, no, the security list,
yes.
To find out whether you've captured the one I sent from my area.
When did you send it?
We sent it, I think, yesterday or Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not in the office now. I will have to check in the office whether it has if not, we have to resend it.
But so far, in my area, you see, you asked for 10 people.
Yes.
But my area, there are more guys who want to, take part. I don't know if you can create space.
We are going to use different groups. Don't worry. Hello?
You say you are going to do what?
Well, we'll use different rules. Some people will be involved in, say, monitoring the registration of the protest.
Oh, okay.
You see that? And it's just a briefing. So you know exactly what you have to do. There's some who also be there because sometimes you see that they have small boys and girls they going to register. That should not be allowed. Draw attention. That's what we are talking about. That's for that part. It's not the city is not something formal or it's like just a briefing.
So that one is part, and then there's another part because there's the rule. So the other rule will be what?
The rule is what is called a polling station to when you are observing.
On the election day.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So one part will be for registration, then the other part will be for the election day proper.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
and we will have to carry to see the ballot boxes to the place. You have to escort them. So ballot boxes should be make sure to go to the polling center.
Okay.
Everybody wants to disrupt the voting, and the police are just standing there. And which that happens, what do you do? Yes.
Okay. So I beg of me, I'm bringing tough guys. I just want to know what form of training that will be given to them because they are.
It's not training like military training or something physical.
Well, Captain Tenagbo has justified his decision to recruit and train the election security team. According to him, it would be ridiculous for anyone to assume these teams are being trained to foment violence on election day.
You see, and the thing is talking about monitoring the elections. You read it very well. It's about monitoring the election, and all parties do it. It's just that when the letter was distributed, some people saw it, and I'm very sorry to say this, but honestly, I'm a retired English teacher, so most of us don't read. Even when we read, what do we get from the what is there that is dangerous? What is in that letter which is dangerous? Just because of the Ayahuasca waiting, training people to monitor the elections. Do you know that you can't just send somebody and put them there or go and is that what you do? And training does not take 1 year. It can be even 30 minutes. You know that right now if I start drilling, when you go do this and that, it's also training. Is that not correct? You think training is involved some elaborate timetable with what do you call it? Is that what you call it? Or uniforms and things. Was I in Accra? I didn't go to Ayahuasca West to go and cause any problem. So we like lifting things out of context. And let says next year elections are coming soon. And look, even during if you are a party, the first thing you do is make sure that right from the polling station, from the registration of voters, you monitor kids, foreigners, other people who should not register come to register. Monitoring means getting the information by seeing what is being done. So when you get the information, you know what to do. It doesn't mean you call violence. That will be a basis for you to protest. Is that not correct? Are you not free as an individual to protest against anything which is not correct? Do you know people when they are on the way to the election center, people cross them and start coaching them on election day? They will go vote like this. Are you aware they do that? You didn't know. It has nothing to do. People take it out of. I understand it has been sent to Catholic Bishops Conference and a Christian Council, Muslim Representative Council, where it's on Facebook, Community, and so forth. But those people more than 100 people have called. Look at my phones. When I ask them several questions, they say, oh, sorry. I say yes. Any serious minded person seeing the letter would not see. I'm a security man. If I want to do something, I'll put it in the letter form to ask you to bring the people. Will I do that? You see, those two, I'm sorry to say this, but we are so stupid that sometimes or naive. When we see innocence, we turn it to crime. Somebody who intends to do something innocently, you now take it to be this. The one who wants to do it as a crime will not let you see.
In another development, chairman of the newly inaugurated Commission of Inquiry constituted to investigate the violence that characterized last Thursday's by-election in the Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency has urged political parties and other stakeholders to collaborate and support the body to help identify and eliminate the underlying cause of electoral violence in Ghana. At a swearing-in ceremony of the three-member commission at Jubilee House Friday afternoon, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia says the historic move is expected to eliminate the underlying cause of electoral violence. The commission, according to government, is historic because successive governments have failed to holistically deal with the problem since 1992. Latif Idris was at the swearing-in and has come through with the following report.
So, acting with the consent of the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Vice President who is acting as President on Wednesday, the 6th of February 2019, constituted a Commission of Inquiry to investigate the disturbances that characterized the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election. Now, today here at the Jubilee House, the Commission has been sworn in, and the chairperson for the Commission said his outfit will carry out an objective, transparent, and a fair inquiry into the matter.
Or as may be specially permitted by law.
Or as may be specially permitted by law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You have duly sworn in. Thank you. Well, very well.
We would like to assure all and sundry that we shall carry out our mandate transparently, objectively, and in a fair manner. And we would like to urge all and sundry to give us all the support that we would need so that we can find credible and lasting solutions to the phenomenon of electoral violence and vigilante groups.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, on his part, described the formation of this Commission of Inquiry as historic.
I think this has been, it's really historic if you look at it from what chairperson to the commission has said. We've had incidents of violence at by-elections, whether you're talking about Talensi, Chereponi, Etiwa. But I think this is the first time any government has set up a commission of inquiry to get to the bottom of it. So I think it's historic, and it shows a difference in looking out for transparency.
Asked how easy the commission's work would be with the benefit of video footages widely shared on traditional and social media, Secretary to the Commission, Ernest Kofi Abochi, says he will not be tricked into making preconceived statements even before the investigation starts.
This commission of inquiry can be ongoing or can be completed, and criminal proceedings can be instituted. The Supreme Court did not say that when there's a commission of inquiry, then they can't. Then once the outcome is holds certain people culpable, you can't prosecute those. What the Supreme Court said is that you can't use the evidence before the commission to prosecute. So the criminal investigation machinery of Ghana can get kick-started and can start its own investigation alongside this. Don't make preconceived statements before you start your investigations, and so I will not take that temptation. As far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen footages. As far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen any brutality. I have seen nothing. So that temptation,
you've had nothing.
I'm basically just saying I won't take that bait. That temptation, I won't take it. The Commission of Inquiry is about to embark on an investigation. It is going to start this on a blank note.
Deputy Africa Union Commission Chairperson Kwesi Quarter is pushing for the Justice Short Commission to hold a public hearing in the Ayawaso West Wugon violence probe. He argues this will be key for the successful resolution of the current disagreement about what exactly transpired during the by-election. You recall on Thursday, security analyst Adam Bona proposed a public hearing of the commission. Speaking to JoyNews at the AU's headquarters in Ethiopia, Ambassador Quarte expressed optimism the commission will do a good job.
Tradition of this democracy, which we cherish, and we don't want to lose it.
In terms of resolving this matter, Ghana, we've set up a commission of inquiry to look into the disturbances. You think that is a way to go and should be back?
It is a good beginning. I know Emily Short. The others in the committee, I know Patrick Achampon, who used to be IGP. Yes. And I don't know who else is there.
There's Professor
Mensah Bose, a professor of law, my very good friend. I mean, I think that that committee is good. And they will be impartial and they will come out of it. No. We have been lucky that this happened. It has served as notice.
You think the committee would be able to unravel this and give us far
Yes, I'm sure they will sit not in camera, they'll sit open. People will come and give evidence, and if you hear the evidence, and they'll come out with the report, and they'll be implemented. No, I think that when I saw the committee, it gives me hope.
So you think a public hearing will be the best?
I think a public hearing will be the best. You see, it's important to air out your dirty linen sometimes. It cleans out everything. You know, that is why our democracy, young as it is as strong. Everything is done publicly. So you see it. And when the people start condemning it, you know it. You know, there's nothing like transparency and openness. And to influence people's minds, to serve as warning to all of us, to also serve as an education that, look, we have something that we cherish and we don't want to lose it. And I think Ghanaians have come out clearly to indicate that, hey, be careful.
Ambassador Quarte has meanwhile called for a halt to the trend where political party members are recruited into the security agencies.
You see, what makes a state is the monopoly of violence by the police and the military. That is the backbone of the state. When you have one armed central authority which has access to arms, like the army, and is organized centrally in a very organized manner, the way our army is or the police is, that is the backbone that gives the state its validity.
But currently we are actually seeing a trend where they are recruiting certain individuals into these state agencies.
I'm saying that. So when that central authority, military authority, is divided, then you have a civil war. So we should be careful that we maintain that central authority. And, you know, arms must be controlled and must be regulated. The army is organized and regulated in a hierarchy. They have discipline. Vigilante groups do not have that discipline.
And so the if we dilute our state power,
yes,
it could break down the discipline.
That is why we have to be concerned about that.
So we must perhaps take a look at keeping it as professional. It should be the recruitment
make it professional. Go for ability and quality.
Not party foot soldiers.
Not party foot soldiers. You know, that's very important. Will you come in? Yeah.
Kufuor will on Thursday, February 21, be in Parliament to deliver the State of the Nation address. Majority Chief Whip Kwesi Ameya-Treme announced this in the House on Friday. Minority spokesperson on communication, ABA Fuseni Ava, says they don't expect anything extraordinary because the nation is in a bad shape as far as security is concerned. But the Deputy Majority Whip, Matthew Nyendam, disagrees.
The Business Committee takes this opportunity to inform the House that His Excellency, the President of the Republic, is expected to deliver a message on the state of the nation on Thursday, 21st February 2019, in accordance with Article 67 of the Constitution. This is to give prior notice to all honorable members to aid them in planning their affairs during the week of the delivery of the message by the President.
My brother, all of us know, including all of you, that number one, our democracy is under threat. Today, under his leadership, irregular forces, vigilante forces are being elevated to the status of national security, and giving arms is very dangerous in our history. Never in our history have we seen what is happening today, where vigilante forces are taking control of state security. It's terrible.
So for you, the state of the nation is...
My brother, today, please, my brother, within the last 1-2 months, you can see the number of unexplained deaths. But we are in a state of serious insecurity.
So you'd expect the president to put...
So number one, what measures are there to, as it were, address these? Ghanaians are living in fear today. He promised that he was coming to Siko. The country was a peaceful country when he took over.
I sincerely believe that we have a long journey to go as a nation. I will not pretend that things are all okay. No, I won't pretend to say that. I will not say that we have transformed the economy to the extent that everybody should rejoice. I wouldn't say that. But I think that the steps that we are putting in place, the policies that we are implementing, eventually, by the end of 2020, going into the 2020 elections, Ghana will actually feel the impact of Nana Addo's government. I know it doesn't just take 2 years to transform an economy from its raw state to even talking about transforming adding value, and then from import you now begin to talk about export. It doesn't take one day, it takes time.
A documentary filmmaker, Thomas Jonathan Ossoff, is asking the persons who threaten and call for violence against journalists be made to face the law. According to him, until individuals are dealt with, the lives of every journalist remains under threat. He made this known at the memorial service held in remembrance of Ahmed Swale, who was assassinated early this year at Medina. Nancy Emefedradozi was there and our reports.
Ghanaian and international journalists gather to mourn the death of investigative journalist Ahmed Hussein Swale, who was killed early this year. After his death, many who took to social media, including the minority, accused the Central MP Kennedy Ejapong of inciting violence against Ahmed. At the memorial service earlier today, the representative of international media, Jonathan Ossoff, charged the police to deal with anyone who threatens and incites violence against journalists.
As long as the killers are at large, and it is not enough merely to bring those who pulled the trigger to justice. so too must those who gave the order be held to account. And those who hold high positions, who threaten journalists, who call for violence against journalists, should also face accountability.
GJA President Afil Moni also expressed concerns about the way Ahmed's death is being discussed in the media.
We allow ourselves to be divided over trivial issues. But what has happened to Ahmed, his tragic death under horrendous circumstances should not be treated trivially. We need to close our ranks. We need to send the right signals to the right quarters that nothing can divide us, nothing can hold us back. Some will tell you, Ahmed is not a journalist, why do you even stand for him? But we don't believe in discrimination.
Deputy Information Minister Pius Hajide noted government was committed to providing security to all Ghanaians, especially journalists in the country.
Violence against media practitioners and journalists cannot and must not be tolerated anywhere in the world. Government will continue to ensure citizens, including journalists, are given the needed security protection while they go about their duties.
Meanwhile, family of the late Ahmed Swale is asking members of the general public who have information on the death of the departed to come out so that perpetrators of this heinous crime are brought to book.
We know you have touched so many people's lives, so we pray that your memory will also impact and empower generations. And those of us out there who may have any information, please contact the police. If you need to give it anonymously, phone the Ghana Police Service numbers. Please come forward. Please give us the answers that we need. Please help us find the people who did this.
The Ghana Police Service says it will not rest until it brings the killers of Ahmed Swale to book.
We're taking a break here on JoyNews Prime, but still ahead, a section of the Kumasi Highway is to be closed to traffic soon to enable reconstruction of a defective portion of the road.
But we don't want any accident to happen in that area. So I will take this opportunity to plead with those along that area which have been marked with the red crosses to move immediately because the work is just about to start.
Meanwhile, here in Accra, work on the footbridges on the Medina-Adentan Highway are progressing steadily, except some residents are not impressed with the pace of work so far.
But the other time what they buy, still now,
And then much later on, he almost got married to the love of his life until the girl's family had a change of mind because of his height. Robert Mensah, however, says, though shattered, he's not giving up on finding true love.
Don't take one girlfriend, take two or three. Maybe your first girlfriend just disappoint you. Second one just disappoint you. The third one they know.
Business News is next. Police in Bolgatanga and the Upper East region have rearrested and arraigned before court the man alleged to have set an 11-year-old boy on fire for allegedly peeping at a woman taking her bath. Bolgatanga Municipal Police Commander Chief Superintendent Samuel Punobiing, in an exclusive interview with JoyNews' regional correspondent Albert Sori, denied ever agreeing with the family to settle the case out of court. He said a medical form the family was asked to complete and make available to police was only submitted on Monday, enabling the police to now take the suspect to court and remand him in custody.
The medical form that was issued to them was not returned. It was when this news broke up that the docket was open. We never closed the docket. The court was active. It was when this news broke that we now trace the father. Then we got him and we asked him, but the medical form was issued to that long time. Why? He said he didn't have money to go to endorse it. Then we said, oh, we needed the medical form. That is very, very important because even though the boy was wounded. At least we needed that one to enhance our investigation because the medical form was very, very, very critical so far as prosecution of this case was concerned. So we impressed upon him. It was just yesterday. You can yesterday that the endorsed medical form was brought from the regional hospital by the father.
Who brought it?
The father. Okay. Because according to yes, the father of the boy. Because according to yes, the father of the boy. Because I think he went to the hospital and then because he was on admission, the medical form and the medical form was in the folder. So when you trace there, then he finally paid for $100 and brought the medical form, and it also gave statement. All along the father statement was not on the docket.
So the father gave the statement yesterday?
Yes, he gave statement and together with the medical form. Okay. And after getting all this set, the suspect was put before court this morning and he has been remanded into police custody to appear before court on the 26th. Yes.
So the suspect is currently...
suspect is currently police custody. But ironically, the father was... The judge, even when he went to court, the father was not in court. Even though he was fully told that we are appearing before court today. He didn't come, but the judge even remanded for him so that the next court date. He was here. I want the next court date is 26th. You have to avail himself to court.
Chief Superintendent Samuel Puno being also denied police advised the family of the 11-year-old boy to settle the case out of court. He says the family rather failed to show interest in prosecuting the case.
The point is, it's really do that in the cases of this nature. If the suspect, if the family of the boy, if there were no trace, that one the social welfare would have taken place. The family came around. They said it was their consent. We didn't force them to go and negotiate with the suspect. Listen, no. But at least at that point, they all were looking at the life of the victim was so paramount. And then why not? If they are taking care of his or everything, I mean, we cannot reject. And then initially, mind you, I told you the boy was on admission on the third day that the mother came. And then as soon as he saw that the suspect family were taken, he was comfortable with that. And then so he came and told them that he was comfortable with that. And who couldn't have rejected the offer given by the family of the suspect. In any case, at least they were able to take care to this level. So granted that we rejected that the boy had died. Apparently, we were going to blame police for being insensitive.
A section of the main Accra-Kumasi highway in the Konongo-Dumase area in Ashanti region is to be closed temporarily to enable contractors fix huge gullies detected beneath the asphalt. Authorities say the defects of the road, if not fixed, could endanger the lives of motorists using that stretch. Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah visited the project site and the route through which traffic will be diverted. Prince Apia went along and has more in the following report.
Close to the main Kumasi-Accra road at Akantiebesa in Konongo is this big, deep gully eating into the main road gradually. Residents say it began developing over 5 years ago and has since extended almost half into the main road. These mechanics here have a clue of what could have started this disaster waiting to happen. It was not this big. They used to do alluvial mining here. The water from the mine caused this gully. Authorities have moved to fix the road and other bridges at Odumasi Zongo and Odumasi Township. Some structures have already been earmarked for demolition. This means residents must evacuate immediately. Nobody will survive if there is an accident. We are ready to relocate because fixing the road is important to us. It is unclear when closure of the road will be affected, but detours are being created to ease the traffic on the stretch during the construction period. occupants of temporary structures near the restricted areas are pleading they be allowed to stay so they can reoccupy after work is completed.
We
will leave, but we cannot build new structures, so they should allow our structures to stand so we can reoccupy after the work is done. Susan Akomia is Municipal Chief Executive for Santiachem Central. She pleads with residents to relocate to pave way for the reconstruction of the broken bridges.
We don't want any accident to happen in that area. So I will take this opportunity to plead with those along that area which have been marked with the red crosses to move immediately because the work is just about to start. We should not put any impediments on their way so that the work can carry on as smoothly as possible so that he can move to the other two areas.
Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah says no compensation will be paid on property found in these construction paths.
We know that under EI, that is Executive Instrument 17 of 2004, compensation was paid to most of the people, or to all the people who were affected then. So all those who have reconstructed the demolished properties and all those who are erecting temporary structures, they should not think that when the project recommences, they will be paid compensation. No compensation will be paid. Because according to the laws of the country, compensation is not paid on the same project twice.
Meanwhile, many are excited these are being fixed before any disaster happens. Prince Apia reporting.
Well, here in Accra, residents of the Medina Denta area are asking contractors to expedite work on the 6 footbridges in the construction. Work on the footbridges, which was stalled for years, resumed after a series of agitations by road users and residents over the several pedestrian knockdowns on the stretch, resulting in a number of deaths. Daniel Dadzi visited the site and reports, though the contractors are there, residents are not impressed with the pace.
We are at the SDA junction on the Medina Adenta highway. It's the end of the working day, and so traffic has built up on the road with vehicles moving home, and commuters are also heading home through various means of public transport. This particular footbridge is just a few meters away from the West Africa Senior High School, which was the scene of a massive demonstration involving the blocking of a road and a heavy security presence as a result of the death of a student of the West Africa Senior High School. It's just a few meters down the road. After that demonstration, the Ministry of Roads and Highways, and in fact the Interministerial Committee on Road Accidents, set up by President Akufo-Addo, kicked into motion, and they commissioned 6 different contractors to begin working on these 6 footbridges. We've spoken to some of the workers working on this particular footbridge who say they are on course and they have even exceeded their targets. This has been confirmed by some officials of the supervising authority, which is here. However, residents of the area and those who look onto the work still seem disgruntled.
The best resenka and quantum my say almost started food blade muye. Me am a wabin and anabaha. I'm almost saying 3 weeks or acha 3 months umbewi. But the time or the buyer still now a good way across Omonia New Omoyan in Tamay. Though almost a cast a bonk of honor, a susu dear. But Samoya food blade mania. Menini said, will be by hand who be track maybe a BBC. Do my BBA much less or more, but car accident dear in try anytime be a Tessiwa. I don't like to be called for be a accident is you are. And you know, dear, yes, and I said, so or my contract is more yet the Ammonian ye my no Ammonian in Tem, and you know, my who's can Ammonian in Tem.
He expects the work to be done and done quickly. He says that in the times that the demonstration was ongoing, he was expecting that this work could have been done in a matter of weeks or at most 3 months, even though he acknowledges that the number of deaths from road accidents has gone down. Road accidents still occur, especially in those moments where the traffic lights which have been fixed now are not working. So he is calling on the contractor and government to ensure that the work is done and done expeditiously.
A woman in her 80s was knocked down by a vehicle at Osu in Accra on Friday and abandoned by authorities and commuters for 5 hours as she bled from an open fracture on her leg. After announcements on Joy FM's Super Morning Show, she was transported to the hospital by a concerned listener. Host Daniel Daze visited the woman at the Accident and Emergency Center of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital in our report.
The story of Chai Amesinyo tells us that good Samaritans do exist, but they are just as difficult to find. It began on Friday morning when the Super Morning Show team received an alert during the news review that a woman had been knocked down by a vehicle some 2 hours before that at about 4:30 a.m. and she was still lying by the roadside, bleeding and wounded. This alert was quickly put out and the authorities were implored through the radio to go to her aid. 2 hours later, after 8:30 a.m., a similar message came in through WhatsApp and on Twitter that this woman had not been taken from where she was lying by the roadside. We put out another alert, and this time the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, Kenneth Ashigbe, answered our call. He went and picked her from where she was lying at Osu, a few meters from the Health Nest Hospital and the Osu police station, and took her to receive some health care. She was eventually brought here to the Accident and Emergency Center at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
She says that, initially when we're asking her where she comes from, she speaks Dangbe, then she was talking about somewhere in the Dangbe area, but now she says she stays at Impoase. And the interesting thing is that one of the lady who I met that took me to her, also said she recognizes her and that she used to fry fish somewhere at Big Bay some time back. So I'm not too sure, and now she has said Impoase, and I think they're around the same place. So currently there's nobody. So if you look at in terms of signing the forms and everything, I've had to do it. I've had to do some of the rounds with you. And that's where we are currently. We are told that they would have to do surgery. The challenge is that it's an open fracture and already she's also not stable. Her HB is quite low, so the doctors would have to monitor her till she's okay enough for them to be able to do the surgery, and so that's what we are planning for.
Now, Madame Ashinyo, who is believed to be in her 80s, was unable to speak to us because she's still recovering from her injuries and preparing to undergo surgery. Health officials, however, say it will be necessary to identify her next of kin, her family members, or maybe even close friends or neighbors in order that she is returned to where she lives when she finally recovers. Daniel Daze, Joy News, Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Now everyone yearns for love and acceptance. So sometimes dealing with a broken heart after a partner had promised to love you forever could be crushing. This is the story of Robert Mensah, whose beautiful girlfriend he hoped to marry jilted him because of his diminutive structure. Robert says his heart is in tatters after the girl's relatives conspired to turn down his proposal to settle with her. Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin has more on the heartbreak suffered by Robert, the little man.
I want a simple love money cannot buy.
2 years ago, Robert Mensah was full of life. He had found love and was ready to settle down. He boasted that sweet-talking women and getting them to love him was easy.
If you just see that this guy, you don't know, you just know the way to win that girl. If you just want to show that girl is easy there, they get that girl. But brother, but if you just go that girl, you just greet that girl before and mention your name, you ask that girl's name. Yeah. No, yeah.
That story has changed.
Because of the girls, that girl family, they not accept it. That's why I just forget that one.
He's now ready to pick up the pieces and forge forward. But Robert now wants to build his own house before settling down.
But I just want to have my own plot my own house, my own everything now. Nobody can disturb me everything now.
So how old are you now?
Almost 32. April is 33.
The gnawing pain of rejection in his heart had convinced him never to commit to one woman.
I didn't want to talk to my friends or my boys that don't take one girlfriend, take or two or three. Maybe your first girlfriend just disappoint you. Second one just disappoint you. The third one they know. Yeah, everybody just take note about that.
Though shattered by the experience, Robert says he's not giving up, convinced that his soulmate is out there waiting for him.
I want a simple love money cannot buy.
I am Israel. You have a good night and thank you for watching.
This is JoyNews Prime.